I'm in the beauty room at Petworth House in Sussex, which is one of the most remarkable Baroque interiors in England, or at least was and will be again. This room was created by the 6th Duke and Duchess of Somerset, who were the power couple of the late 17th century. She was the richest woman in England. He was the highest ranking. And what they wanted to do was to be as close in fashion to the royal family. Therefore, they created this room in response to something made by Queen Mary II with full-length portraits interspersed by mirrors. But they went further than the Queen in specifically commissioning portraits rather than just collecting them for this space. So they're precisely sized, and they're all but one by the Swedish court artist Michael Dahl. This scheme meant that when you came into the room, you would see yourself reflected in amongst these very important women at the court of William III and Queen Anne. They were all directly connected in some way or another to the Duke and Duchess, and they showed the importance of the couple by their connections. It would have been here that the principal pomp and ceremony of daily routine would have been undertaken. And we know that in 1703, the King of Spain was entertained in here. And we have an extraordinarily detailed account of that, where he sat directly in front of the fireplace, and he would have been positioned beneath the most important of the portraits, which was of the Duchess of Ormond, and facing opposite him 2 duchesses. So even the positioning of the paintings was very precisely thought about. This room continued in its original form until the early 19th century, when the 3rd Earl of Egremont, who was the great-grandson of the 6th Duke and Duchess of Somerset, had run out of space for paintings. He was a prolific purchaser of both paintings and sculpture. He was advised that a group of pictures relating to the defeat of Napoleon would look very well in this room. But of course, there were already paintings in here, so he was asked what to do with the full-length portraits, and his response was, "Cut off their legs. I have no need of their petticoats." And that is indeed what his workmen set about doing. But rather remarkably, his workmen, perhaps nervous that he would change his mind, as he was known to do, reattached the detached canvas and rolled it up behind. This was discovered in the 1980s, and the National Trust in 2019 took the decision that they would return 2 of the portraits to their full length because they had been deemed by specialist curators to be the finest works by the artist Michael Dahl. And that was indeed done. As you can see, they're back to being in their original proportions, and it's barely possible to see the join where the canvas has been restored, but you can see if you look very closely. Having undertaken this task to put the 2 paintings back to their original lengths, the decision was then taken to restore the whole room so that people coming in now would be able to experience it as it was in the past. We have undertaken a lot of research in terms of the other elements of the room, and one of the key ones is this great cavernous doorway behind me leading to the grand staircase, which was intended to have full-height double doors, which would have been opened by liveried footmen when anybody wished to go in between the 2 spaces. We have now established all the different elements of that scheme, and it has received permissions to go ahead, and we're now at the stage of seeking the funding, and even within that we'll continue to do what works we can with what money and resources we have.